Hello, thank you for taking the time to view this quick how-to guide on the ARTIE system when applying to the Artists with Disabilities Access Program. My name is Chaz O'Neill, and I am the Individual Artist Programs and the Percent for Art Coordinator here at the Ohio Arts Council. I am a white male with dark brown hair and a beard and goatee. I'm wearing a red plaid shirt today, and I'm coming to you from my home office. On the screen, we are showing an image of a person's hands who is working at a laptop, and it says how to apply ARTIE. What I'm going to show you today is how to get into ARTIE, which is our online system for creating grant applications. The Ohio Arts Council uses ARTIE in many ways. One way is to communicate with applicants about the application status and to send you notifications. We also use ARTIE to locate past applications, sign documents, and to complete the final report once you are awarded grants. Then at the end, I will talk about what happens after you click Submit Application. So let's get started. To begin your application, you can get to ARTIE one of two ways. You can go directly by going to the source, which is ohioartscouncil.smartsimple.com. Or you can go to our website, oac.ohio.gov, and find the Grants tab and select the ARTIE login. On the screen, we are showing an image of the Ohio Arts Council homepage with the Grants tab highlighted with a blue arrow pointing at the ARTIE login. This is what the ARTIE login screen looks like. It says, "Welcome to the Ohio Arts Council Online Grant Application System, ARTIE," with an email, password, login, and register button at the bottom. If you are an existing user, you can simply log in. If you are new to the system, you will need to register a new profile first. Let's click on Register. We are showing two screen grabs of the registration options. Here are two options. You can register as an organization or an individual. Then there is a Getting Started with ARTIE, the individual artist form with name and email, address, all that stuff is on the form. Obviously, you will register as a new user and you will need to register as an individual, and then you will complete the form. This is the ARTIE home screen. It states, "Welcome to ARTIE." It has a grid of 5 icons that are labeled Begin a New Application, Open an Active Application, View Current Past Awards, Change Password, and Personal Profile. Once you are signed in, you will land on the ARTIE home screen. You can begin a new application, which is what we will do next. But you've previously, maybe if you previously opened an application and you've worked on it, but you want to come back to it, you will go to the Open an Active Application next. And just for future reference, you will also utilize the View Current Past Awards to sign your grant agreement and to submit your final report. I do have one thing to note here. In the personal profile section, if you are a brand new applicant, your personal profile is actually not complete. Before you submit your application, you must go to the personal profile section to add your county and your legislative districts in order to submit your application. On the screen, we are showing the Ohio Secretary of State website with the Find My District page. There is a map of Ohio with a search bar in the upper right where it says type your address. So you want to add those, your county and your legislative district numbers in your personal profile. You will get an error message if you do not do that. This is the #1 thing that trips up people on the deadline day. So the best resource to locate those numbers is to go to the Ohio Secretary of State website. Here is a direct link to that page, and you will need to punch in your address to get those district numbers. And that address, web address, is www.findmydistrict.ohiosos.gov. As you select Begin New Application, you will be taken to the Funding Opportunities list. We are showing a screen of the list of open grant opportunities. There are 3 programs listed on the screen with 3 PDF hyperlinks and 3 blue apply buttons to the right. So you will select begin new application, and this will take you to the list of opportunities. I want to take a moment here to talk about other funding opportunities we offer to individual artists. We have the Traditional Arts Apprenticeship Program, where mentor artists and apprentices work together through one-on-one teaching and learning to learn folk and traditional art techniques. We also have our new Artist Opportunities Grant. This grant is nearly identical to the ADAP program. If you identify as a person with a disability, you can apply for both ADAP and the Artist Opportunities. However, you must apply with 2 separate projects. And if you are fortunate enough to be recommended for both grants, you can only select one grant to receive. So you can only receive one of these grants per fiscal year. And if you're wondering where the Individual Excellence Awards application is, those applications don't open until June 1st of every year. Again, you can find all the guideline PDFs here as well. So if you need those, you can click on those to download, or you can go back to the grants tab on the Ohio Arts Council homepage. So let's go back to ADAP and click the blue apply button. On the screen, you can see the new application area that you come to. The first thing you will come to is to enter a project start date and a project end date. Remember, the earliest you can submit for a project is July 1st of the current year, and the latest your project can go is June 30th of the following year. So please note, if you are awarded an ADAP grant, you will most likely not receive your funds until mid to late August. So we do caution applicants with those early project start dates of July, early August, to not book that residency or not book that venue until you are notified of your award in late July or early August. Then you will click Continue to Application. If you are a returning user to ARTIE, you will notice a few changes to the application workflow. We made the application one long page rather than breaking it up to separate pages and tabs. On the screen, there are 3 screenshots. One is of the project title area of the application. The one in the middle is the Jump To section, and the one at the bottom, there are 4 blue buttons that say Save, Check for Errors, Request Feedback, and Submit Application. And there are 3 arrows pointing to all these little snippets. You'll want to enter a project title for your application at the top. You will notice that the project start date and the project end dates are here as well, in case you need to make changes later. You can utilize the Jump To section in the right-hand side of the screen to track your progress, or just to quickly move about the application. The buttons at the bottom are Save, to save your work that you've done so far. And we recommend that you use this save function early and often, because ARTIE does tend to time out and log you out if you're not actively working in it. There's a Check for Errors function, and there is a Request Feedback function. The Request Feedback function will send a notice to the program coordinator, which is me, to take a look at your in-progress application. So please do allow us a little time to do that. Myself or Kathy will email you back with any suggestions and comments. And then there's the all-important Submit Application button. Let's talk about the narrative questions listed in ARTIE next. Here are the 4 questions that are listed in ARTIE. These all correspond to the review criteria in the guidelines. So you want to have those guidelines with you when you are answering these questions. The first one is the summary. You're going to provide a brief summary of your proposed project, including who will be involved, what will happen, and where the activities will take place. But the first official question is the program quality. Why do you want to advance your artistic career at this time? This is worth 15 points. The panelists will see this evident in your skill, in your chosen discipline. They will also see this in your resume, in your bio, in your support materials, and in your audio, visual, or writing samples. Community engagement. How do you propose your work in the community? How do you promote your work in the community? And how will this project help? This is worth 10 points. Panelists will want to see a community engagement aspect to your project. Those could be a performance. You could hold a community workshop. It could be a public exhibition, a poetry reading, a book signing, or these could all be online too. You can also cite past examples of work you've done in the community too. It also doesn't have to be things that you're going to do. It can be things you've already done. So this shows evidence that you've had this engagement with the community. And yes, sharing work on your website or Instagram or Facebook is acceptable community engagement. Number 3, how specifically will this project advance your artistic career and what are your goals? This is worth 25 points. This is where you want to talk about your timeline and state your goals for the grant period. We often hear panelists say, I just wish they showed more of a detailed timeline. And this is where you'll tease out all those details of your project. You can break down your timeline into weeks, into months. You can utilize the project end date and kind of work backwards from there. So if you have a goal in the end, you want to make sure you talk about all those little things that happen in between the start date and the end date. And the 4th question is the resource management question. How specifically will you use the grant funding if it is awarded? This is where you'll write a detailed summary of the budget. For instance, if you have $600 planned for purchasing some art supplies, in the dialogue box, you'll want to write, say, $400 for framing, $100 for canvas, and $100 for paint. A new feature to the ADAP application in this year's application is the budget module. The budget module has 7 different areas where you can enter expenses into it. You can read the descriptions for what each line means that corresponds in the description above the form. For the next 2 slides, we are showing the same screenshot, but it's the budget expense showing the instructions in the worksheet below, but they'll have different dollar amounts in them. So for this first examples, this grant program, this grant program does not require a match. So if your project is at the $500 level for the emerging artist, or is at or under the $2,500 level for a professional artist, then filling out the budget can be pretty easy. In this first example, you will enter your expenses in the project program expense column. Then you will copy these expenses over in the OAC grant distribution column. Let's see the example on the screen where each budget item is matched from the project program expense to the OAC grant distribution. $500, $500, $500, $500. And so this matches. Ultimately, you want these numbers to match, and you don't want the OAC grant distribution to be over 2,500, especially if you're applying as a professional artist. So let's say if your project is more than $2,500. Let's say, for instance, your project is $4,000. You want to purchase a synthesizer, you want to purchase a microphone and a tablet, and that all comes out to $3,000. You also have $250 for some in-state travel. You have $250 for some marketing materials and $500 for studio recording time. The max amount you can request for equipment purchases is $1,500, as to explains in capital expenses, not to exceed $1,500. So we put $1,500 here, but our production, the equipment expenses were $3,000, but $1,500 here, that is the max that OAC can distribute to you. In question number 4, you want to explain how you plan on covering the additional $1,500 from those equipment expenses. Are you receiving donations? Are you funding it yourself, or do you have another funding source? Again, you don't want the OAC grant distribution line at the end to be over $2,500. Let's look at support materials next. There are 3 areas where you can upload your support materials. For this presentation on the screen, we are showing screenshots of the blue buttons titled Upload Program Quality Support Materials, Upload Work Samples, and Upload Community Engagement Support Materials. The first one is the Upload Program Quality Support Materials. This is where your resume, your biography, and your artist statement goes. While it's not required, if it is applicable, the materials describing such as a proposed class, an exhibition, conference, or workshop, as well as if you have resumes of a proposed instructor that you're going to learn from, or an artist that you're going to work with, or a consultant or professional, you want to upload those resumes there as well. There is a max of 6 documents that you can upload here. So Word documents, PDFs, Excel files, PowerPoints are all accepted here. The one below that is the Upload Work Samples button. This is where you'll upload your images in your MP3s and your MP4s. There is a file size of 10 megabytes per file. So if you have a huge video file, you should either compress it or hyperlink it in the narrative section. And there are hyperlink functions in each of the dialog boxes in the narrative section. So if you want to point to a website or a YouTube video or a Vimeo or anything like that, the guide panelists to extra support materials, you can do that in the narrative section. The third upload button is the Upload Community Engagement Support Materials. This section is optional. If you have a newspaper or magazine articles, event flyers, brochures from an organization that you're engaged with, or marketing materials that you distribute to the community, you can certainly provide those here for panelists to discover about your community involvement. And in question number 2, you should really address each item you upload in any of these sections, so panelists are not left in the dark about something you uploaded but did not mention in the narrative. I do want to jump back to this Upload Work Samples function and talk about going through the upload and metadata description process. On the screen, we are showing 3 panels. The first showing 2 artwork samples. The middle image is a close-up of the green artwork with an arrow pointing to the pen icon. The right panel shows the properties of the file with an arrow pointing to the text box. On the left-hand side, I have uploaded a video and a JPEG of an artwork, but my file names are pretty generic. If you notice, they are just kind of labeled art7.jpg on the left panel under the green image. In order to put your best professional foot forward, you'll want to rename these images to include title, description, media, size, and the year it's created. You can do that by clicking the pen icon under the image or under the video you uploaded. That will bring up a text field where you can type in that information. I typed in green diamonds, mixed media 48 by 48, 2021. Also, please note, if you've had experience with our individual excellence awards in the past and you've had trouble resizing the images for those requirements, you don't have to worry about that for this grant application. We don't require the special sizes or anything. All right, so next let's talk about what happens after submission. The image we are showing is from a FY20 ADAP grantee. Her name is Gina Washington. This was during her project titled On the Nature of Daylight. The image features a black and white photo collage, kind of woven photo collage with a young black female with her hair is up, and she's wearing kind of an open-shouldered shirt. Once the deadline passes, the Ohio Arts Council will have a few weeks to review applications for completeness, eligibility, and to request revisions, and to prepare the ARTIE system for the panelists to begin their review. You will receive notification for when your panel meeting will take place. The Ohio Arts Council works with professional artists, curators, and administrators of all disciplines and all backgrounds to review and score all the submitted applications. The OAC hosts virtual public panel meetings for all of our grant programs in accordance with Ohio's Sunshine Law. At the public panel meeting, the panelists who have spent close to 4 to 5 weeks reviewing the applications, they'll come together to discuss the strengths and weaknesses of each application. The public is welcome to virtually attend the meeting as audience members only. No application scores or funding decisions will be made at that meeting. While it's not required to attend the meeting, we do recommend that you do so you can hear live feedback about your proposal and your work. And it really does help future applications. The meeting is not recorded, and so if you can't make or attend the meeting, you can request a summary of your panel comments from me or Kathy. About a week after the panel meeting, you will receive your application score, and then OAC leadership will review the scores and determine the scoring cutoff. And then applicants will be notified whether they've been awarded or not. And then we start the grant agreement process and get you on your way to getting paid. So that covers it for me for this breakdown of the segment of the webinar. Please note that you can utilize the same information for the Artist Opportunities Grant Program since the ADAP program and the Artist Opportunities Program are identical. Remember that we are here to help. On the screen, I am showing an image of myself in our individual artist programs and Percent for Art director, Kathy Signorino, and we are working hard in the office. Kathy's contact information is on the screen. Her email is kathy.signorino@oac.ohio.gov, and her phone number is 614-728-6140. And my contact information is chaz.o'neill@oac.ohio.gov, and my phone number is 614-728-4421. So thank you for watching, and we hope to be in touch with you very soon about your application. Have a good day.